Hey guys, happy weekend, happy Sunday evening or a different time, depending on where you're located. Hope all is going well. I had a really productive weekend and the weather here finally turned to fall. So I am just really enjoying that it is like, it feels like fall. So I'm getting much more into like fall crafting and got a whole bunch of projects done. It's going to be a big week, I think, just probably for everybody, but for me as well, in that I think there's 4 or 5 or 6 hops or whatnot. Hey, Cordelia, how are you? Hi, Delise. I saw you earlier if you're still here. But like the 14th and the 15th, there's just a bajillion things going on both Instagram and YouTube. But and I should say tonight, an hour ago, Cordelia probably knows about this already, but there was the Kendra's Card Challenge, did their card showcase and prize giveaway. So if you did participate in that, the video should be up and you can see if you won a prize or not. And then in an hour, my friend Joy was going to be over on the Prickly Pear Pals Facebook group, probably doing some coloring. I don't know what project she's doing exactly, but I'm just really interested to see all that. So this might be, I don't know, I usually keep it to an hour, but this might be slightly shorter than that. We will see where we go. Let me just bring you down to my desk. I actually got a request. There I am. Now we're better. From Delise, who was, let's see. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I generally try it. It's fun to watch them live because you can chat with people, but like I also have sort of that issue where it's like, well, it depends on the day, and if I'm home by essentially 6 o'clock my time. Sundays are great, but like during the week, it gets a little bit interesting. Hey, Delise, how are you? Yeah, so the card itself is, I guess I should back up and say, Delisa had sort of a question on how this card went together. And like, it's mostly pretty straightforward because it's basically just a card based ephemera, but really the background is kind of the star here. So I wanted to kind of work through this a little bit. I did pre prep, which I don't always do, but I wanted to sort of talk a little bit about materials before we get too far forward. And what this is it's an embossed background that I used a mica spray on. It is, and there's a couple different ways. So let me just show you. So this is a slightly different embossing. Wow, you can't see that at all. But trust me, there's leaves on here. And this one was done with sort of a dandelion embossing folder. You can't really tell because this one wasn't embossed terribly deeply. This one has a little bit more character. Um, and then it's just sprayed, so it's super easy to do. The only downside is you have to kind of do it and then let it dry. But I have a couple different products and a couple different versions of this. So if you have a sprays, it's likely you have something kind of like a distress spray or something like this that's just basically an ink spray. This one is in green, and that's sort of how this one came out. Let me see if I can get that. Oh, yeah. Now this is focusing better. So this gives you a very like tone on tone look, right? So the embossing is there, but I don't know that in real life it's a little more evident than on the white, but not terribly so. Um, so that's an option. The other thing is you get kind of an interesting bleed through on the back of this. So if you wanted, I mean, this is depending on what look you're going for. This definitely has sort of a messier feel, but it definitely can help you. The other thing you can do is if you have watercolor, I mean, you can do this technique with watercolors or a more selective technique as well. Basically, there's sort of a, oh, now this is working a little better, at least for me. So this is the deboss side, and if you spray on this side, essentially the ink or whatnot will get stuck in the sort of. Oh, you're saying things. Yeah, I agree. It really depends on I mean, I think the I know it's not really a downside, but, like, with the sprays, you don't necessarily know what you're gonna get, so it's and this is a great technique, like some of the other background techniques we've chatted about, like, if you're feeling uninspired, this is a technique that's, like, really takes almost no time and is really easy to do. Anyway, the second thing I tried is using an oxide spray, which gives you a very chalky finish. I kind of like this one in that it has sort of a fall vibe, so I may actually use this one. I actually made 2 of these. This one you can kind of see the texture better. Um, but I don't know, it depends if you like the oxide look. I'm sure you could use some sort of, acrylic gloss product over this too and get a similar thing. And then this is the one that looks just like the background, and this was using a distressed mica spray called Decay. It was from I forget what year, but from a, Tim Holtz Halloween release. And I don't know if it reads on camera, but sort of the base color here is like a dark actually, it kinda does. So it's like a brownish green kind of color. Um, I don't know, somewhere in the, like, rotting wood family of things. So, I mean, like but what you normally see is just the shininess, which I think actually the shininess is coming through pretty well on camera. Um, so that's basically it. It was pretty easy to do, and I think I think this particular color comes through really well. I haven't tried the other ones in this set, but we can. And the other thing is I basically spritzed these and just sort of left them alone. This one is actually using, craft cardstock, so I think that's why you're getting more browns around the edges here. Whoops, sorry, I'm not on camera. I think that's why you're getting some more browns around the edges on this particular one, but they came out pretty similar. It's just, on the craft, it comes off a little more bronze, and you could also use other stuff on top of this, but, the one thing I will suggest is I drop things on the ground. Actually, we could try the other 2 Halloween colors. They have 2 more of these. We have these are not named the same as the inks because of course they're not. This is Fortune Teller, which is the purple that I used, and I think that this one isn't even open. Well, we might have to open this. And this is called Wicked Elixir. I think we'll open these 2 and try them out just 'cause, I think that had a better I mean, I think these Tim Holtz ones work the best because they're basically a distress spray with mica added, and the Tim Holtz ones, I believe, kind of like the lunar and solar paste. Sorry, this is probably driving you nuts with the noise, but um, uses actual colored mica, so you get, depending on the color, you actually get. Well, good enough. You get a different light shift. My favorite acrylic paint company, Golden, actually makes sort of like acrylic bases with color shifty thingy in them. That's not really a technical term, but like the actual mica in most products is basically white or clear, but in some of the Ranger products, they actually have tinted micas, which makes it look pretty cool. Hey, Lynn. Yeah, I'm going to, but I'm actually going to provide a tip on how to not get messy, which I'm sure you will appreciate. So these are these 2. These were using, I don't know, you probably know what year it got released, but the Falling Leaves embossing folder from Spellbinders that I had around from somewhere. The other thing I'll mention before I get like super messy is um, I spread these flat, but the other option is to spray them a little more creatively and/or, you can actually you can sort of blot the, mica off if you want. I'm probably not gonna do that, but sort of like what you can anything you can do with watercolor while it's still wet, you can kinda do with these sprays in terms of, like, lifting it. But the one thing we should chat about is this is an empty box. And as you can see, is where I sprayed the oxide, but this will help your desk not have spray all over it. And that is a really good thing because a lot of these are acrylic based. So, like, getting them off of things is a huge pain. The first time I used one of these, I did it incorrectly. Well, maybe not incorrectly, but I did it without using a box, and it was much more of a pain. And you don't need a super huge box because these aren't going to go everywhere, hopefully. The other thing with these micas that's worth noting is, let me see if you can hear this. I guess you can. There's a little, there we go. So like a can of spray paint, there's a little ball that bounces around, and you want to definitely make sure the ball bounces around. Yeah, that's smart. I'm gonna spritz this sort of lightly, but just FYI, like if you want to go ham, like the taller the box, the better. And here's hoping we don't like spray on the camera. That's also the goal here. But depending on like, so this is just a little bit, right? Like depending on how you do this, you can sort of do all sorts of things. And then if you want, you can sort of let the color run a little bit. You can let it dry a little bit like that. And they will curl, but these things, it looks like it's curled and it looks like there's no embossing left. But as it dries, it's actually gonna smooth out a lot. I mean, it's gonna go back to being mostly flat. The other decision you have is if you want the debossed or embossed side up. I've been doing these with the debossed side up, so let's try doing one with the embossed side up. Yeah, this one you can really hear. This is the one I haven't tried yet. And I'm probably not going to mix green and purple, but you could. That's the other thing is like you don't necessarily need to be limited to one. And you can also, I mean, you can pretty much mix all the sprays together. So, like if you wanted to add a little, like a darker color to that purple, I might actually do that. Oh, and here we got a little, well, that's a happy accident. We got a little green on the purple. So it'll be interesting to see. Well, it's interesting because it's hard to tell. I guess you can kind of see on camera. Like the green and the purple is actually like melding kind of interestingly together. But here's the green. It'll be interesting to see how these dry. And I guess I'll show this. Do I have a towel? Oh, here we go. So this is like a dried out rag that I was using, but like what you can do is like, let's say I wanted to go in and like just blot this green a little bit. You can actually like, you can kind of lighten up an area. I waited a while, but, um, and depending on how coated your paper is, that might not happen to you. And I did time these just because like normally I would like spritz something like this and just come back to it the next day. But, I think it took about 2 hours for these to fully dry, just sort of left like this. I guess I'll say I am in the northern Midwest, and it is definitely not a humid time of the year anymore. We have much more fall. Um, so let's play with a couple of these and make some cards out of them. I think this would be really good. I want to try a technique that I've seen Teresa and Jamie use, where you basically use some of your scrap to put a line of pattern paper on here, and then like I think you could pop up this gnome, and I think I really like this. Like when I sprayed this, I didn't like this color by itself, but I actually really like it with sort of fall colored things. It works pretty well. And I probably should get a card base and something else. Well, let's pick out a color card base because I am running through my stash of ones I'm trying to get rid of. Now we could do something like a purple. I'll have to trim this down a little bit, but I kind of like that. I like something that's a little more contrasty. Let's see, what else do I have left over? Now we could do like a sort of a raspberry color. I guess this isn't quite what oh, I like that a lot. I think I'll do that. This is kind of vibing Easter, but I'm hoping if we put a pumpkin on it, it'll be just fine. I guess there are do I have orange left? I don't know. I have a bunch of neutral colored card bases too, but I actually kind of like this combo. And I may not need to trim this because this is almost the right size, but I do need to figure out if I have any scrap paper. Actually, we could look at I feel kind of bad. I've done like a bunch of like box of the month things, and have not actually colored a stamp yet. So I definitely need. I don't know if I'm gonna be live this week or what exactly, but I definitely needs to color a stamp. But I think this would look really good. This has some really nice florals in it, so ooh, or that would be that would be kind of a nice tone on tone. I do like it with the teal. I know we're all sort of team teal, but I think that that's a pretty like something vibrant. I think is kind of neat because these are sort of more pastel-y fall colors. Ooh, that might be my favorite because this has sort of the pink, but also kind of a grayish blue. Oh, which one did you like? Yeah, well, I may do the teal. Like I like this is sort of a nice green too, but I do like this teal. And actually, this isn't really doing well for using my scraps, but still, we'll run with it. And I do have this left over, so I might mat this. I kind of like that as an idea because I could just figure out what size this is and then cut it to 5.5 and go from there. And this is maybe 2.25. Oh, this is 2.5. 2.5 is a good size. And there are geese going by. I guess I'll do this 5.5 because I don't know what size my base is or my panel. In theory, I cut it to the right, to just a normal size, but this looks more than 1/4 inch, so it probably is. But I kind of like this as an idea. And then with the teal over it, and then pop up some kind of guy. I've also got somewhere, they're still on my desk. I had some good sort of the fall sentiment ones of the ephemera. I think is around here somewhere. And the cats are having a moment about the various geese outside. I think I'll just do the gnome. I'm kind of liking the gnome because the gnome's got a flower, and I think this will do some kind of neat contrasty stuff. So I think I'll just cut this. I think all I really need to do is cut a strip of this at like 2.25, and I think we'll be good. And then it'll still leave me a lot of teal left over to do something else with later. And then I'll just cut you to 5.5 as well. Man, this paper cuts nicely. Anyway. But I'm liking where this is going. I think this is kind of fun. I'll tape that down and then maybe pop him up, and I think that'll be good. I may just leave this without a sentiment for now, and then we can figure it out later. I mean, in theory, I could also, let's see, we could use one of our book sentiments, I suppose. Yeah, I think I'll wait on a sentiment, but I do want to put this guy together just to kind of see how this looks. Hey, Shauna, how are you? Oh, very cool. I got my back to school card done this weekend as well. I don't know. I kind of went and I have a lot of back to school paper I like, but like I didn't buy the ephemera that went with it, which was in retrospect a bad idea. But I think it will. I think it came together pretty well. Plus, it's kind of a nice. I don't know. It's sort of interesting, right? You wonder, like, if teachers get excited about back to school, or if it's just like the parents. I know, like, all the parents I work with were like super excited for the kids to be back in school, but like, I'm not sure if I were a teacher if I would be super excited. And I'd initially probably told people that, like, taping down these panels you're spraying are a good idea, but I've since come to the realization that, like, they don't warp that much. Uh, I mean, they warp a little bit, but, like, these are thin papers, right? So, I mean, like, adhesive is gonna deal with that pretty nicely. So, I don't know, I kinda feel like that became sort of I don't know, an overkill step. But I'm kind of liking this idea of, I don't know, like it feels like this whole spray technique is something that you could use to sort of, I don't know, either add dimension or just use up stuff too. Like if you had some scrap cardstock that's in a color that you didn't really want, you could just use a spray on top of it and make it a whole new color pretty easily. And I think you get sort of an interesting look too. Certainly with craft, but I think you'd get an interesting look if you used a dark color and then like one of these oxides and a lighter color on top of it, because you get some sort of, you'd see the base color showing through. Do these flowers have a right way up? I guess not really. There we go. It's weird. Like I can see the sun going down now, and it's like, I don't know. It feels like fall when it starts to get dark at like, not bedtime after, I don't know, months of basically it not getting dark until like really, really bedtime. And see, and when I cleaned, I found my junk scissors. So, well, not that they were really lost, but I can at least stop having to like clean my good scissors by using them for a bunch of like adhesive stuff. And I guess we just need a little piece here to sort of help out his arm a bit. Maybe one more little piece at the bottom. Yeah, I think that should work out pretty well. What are you guys working on this week? Do you have anything interesting from a crafty standpoint happening? I feel like this is like one of the busiest crafty weeks I've had in months. Although, I mean, that's not really saying much because it was sort of the quieter time of the year. Hey, Belle, how are you? Nice to see you. We're just putting together some cards and messing up my desk slightly. Stamper Girl was interested in how this background got created. So we did some spraying and then we decided to try a couple new Halloween colors. So we use sort of a leaf pattern and then we have, I don't even remember what these are called. So purple is something. Oh, sorry. That is not the color I used. This is the purple. The purple is fortune teller, and the green is some kind of potion, I think. Wicked elixir. Well, I was close. Anyway, those we are letting dry, but then I used a slightly different. This is an oxide ink, so it like comes out way chalkier. But I decided to make a cute little gnome card. I'm not quite sure what I'll do for a sentiment. I think I'm gonna leave him without it. I actually got inspired watching all the like Kendra's card challenge showcase today because there's a lot of people who just leave their cards without a sentiment. And I'm sort of like, that's kind of smart because you don't really know who you're sending it to or exactly why. Um, and there's a link in the description box, but I guess you're on the East Coast, right? So at 8 o'clock your time or 7 o'clock my time, one of my friends is going live on Facebook. So there's a link to that if you're interested. Anyway, I think I like how our gnome came out. I don't know, like when I saw the amount of florals in this pad, I wasn't sure if I would like it, but I really like how it comes together. Oop, get rid of that. But we would definitely have time to play with one of our other backgrounds. Do you guys have a preference if we, well, I should figure out where I put the other one before I give you options, but let me just put this out of the way here and figure out where we put the other background. That would be a fine thing. Or if not, we know what background we're using. We had these two, and then somewhere I had a third background. I guess we'll find out. Oh, here it is, right in front of my face. It's kind of weird because at an angle, this is a very greenish blue, and I was seeing it from the angle. Anyway, if anyone has preferences on which color we use for our second card of the evening, I haven't quite decided what kind of card it is. Isn't it though? I don't know. I like. I'm not a huge gnome person, but I mean I like cute gnomes. The ones that are more like trolly, I don't like as much. But and hello, Annie. I hope you are feeling somewhat better. Let's see. Yeah, our 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 high schoolers actually smelly. I didn't remember. It's been so long. Well, hearing no paper suggestions, I think I'll do the green because it feels like the most like underrated of the ones. I feel like this gold is just super easy to work with. Um, I don't know though. Like I remember that like in high school there was always like that one person who like I don't know was going through changes and hadn't quite worked it out. But I don't remember it being like everybody. Let's see. How about sort of a peachy orange with the green? I kind of like that. Offset it a little bit. This one I definitely cut to a weird size, so I think we will trim it down to something a little more sane. Don't mind the cats causing commotion in the background. They certainly like to cause commotion whenever I'm on live. I mean, they like causing commotion anyway, but um, and what I did for these is like I just quartered these and then I ran them through an embossing folder. Although it's a little sad now. Let me see if I can grab it. Well, I'm not sure where I put that one, but it got kind of warped because I think my sandwich was too tight because it got kind of wild. Oh, well, I mean, like the problem is it only takes one. I mean, I recall many years ago, someone who's being trained at work was having some issues with that, and it's sort of like like you don't think it would matter that much, but it kind of does. Here we go. Actually, we could make sort of a Halloweeny card out of this, I think, because I have some Frankies left over. I wonder if any of them have anything pink, or I could use the one with the yellow hair. The blonde one Sorry, you can't see what on earth I'm talking about. Um, I have 2 of these cute guys left that I haven't used yet, and I was thinking the blonde one might be kind of fun. I mean, he needs to be on something. We definitely want well, we could do it in the center and then put something here. Let me see if maybe I didn't put away all my Halloween paper. We'll see. Oh, this is the embossing folder I used to do the first one. You can't even tell that it's dandelions, and I don't know if there must be yeah, I don't know. This one I actually picked up because I thought it would be fun. Well, we could do a fall thing. Yeah, let's look at our fall paper a little bit. Woo. Goodness, everything's falling off my desk today. But something, ooh, like this typography one might be neat. I'm kind of liking that, like to have a big, like a fairly wide, like center strip of some sort, and then have it mounted on that. I think would be kind of an interesting thing. Plus, I like this peachy color, kind of pulls in the background, but it's sort of a little unexpected. I don't know. I haven't seen scented stickers around here. I remember them from when I was a kid. I probably told you this story because it's like super dorky. Oh, I like this one better. Let's do the houndstooth, whatever this is. Um, but yeah, like when I forget at some point during like middle school, like collecting stickers became a thing. Like not to use them, but yeah, I like that. I think this will be good. But like you just basically keep them in a binder and like trade them with your friends and whatnot. Um, so yeah, like I collected them at one point as a kid, and like I didn't hang on to any of them or anything, but like um, I remember that like scented stickers or like the puffier stickers were always viewed as like more desirable for whatever reason. But no, I haven't seen. I don't think I've seen any scented stickers, or at least not ones marketed as such at like Hobby Lobby or Michaels or anything like that. I kind of like that. It's a little weird, but I like in a way that I enjoy. I don't know. Then you could definitely like do some sparklies around him, like with glitter gel or something. Where did you see them, Belle? Like were these at Dollar Tree or were they at a craft store? Yeah, Cordelia. What was it? Like I had a coworker who was I don't know if he was allergic or sorry, if he I forget if it was a he or a she, but I don't remember if they were allergic or if they were just very sensitive, but essentially like certain smell. Well, what does this look like with the pumpkins? The pumpkin. Oh, I kind of like it better with the pumpkins if we cover up the pumpkin. Although then he has a pumpkin coming out of his head. I don't know if that makes sense. I do like this pumpkin pattern though. You put him a little off center. Yeah, I like it a little bit better if it's like more towards one side, I think. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so like I can't remember exactly which coworker it was, but like they were really sensitive to like certain fragrances. Like there were like certain florals that like would give them migraines to the point that like I forget like at work at one point like we had gotten one of those like PSA emails where it was, "Oh, thanks, Lynn. I like this one too." I like the I like patterns are growing on me, I think. I mean, not that I ever didn't like patterns, but I mean they were I don't know. I guess they weren't as much of a thing I thought about. I think I'm gonna pop him up again. I liked him better popped up. But anyway, yeah, I've known people who've been very sensitive to scents, and I'm sure that pets get sensitive to them as well, just because they have better a better sense of smell than we do. I think I'm gonna have to cut this in half, and there we go. And maybe this will. I'm sure we can figure this out. In the time that I cut through my die cut trying to cut foam tape, which was one of the times I stopped using foam tape for a while. When you like colored it, when you put some time into coloring stuff and then accidentally cut it up, not meaning to. There we go. Get the release tape off of this and see how this looks. This one also, I think, like, you could definitely use some of this, like, free space here. Like, this would look really good if you put, like, a sentiment banner, like, in here somewhere, which I don't think I'll do tonight, but, I don't know, I'm kinda liking it. It's interesting, like, somehow if you break up this embossing, like, yeah, like, you can actually see it on camera if I bring it close, but, like, with against smooth things, it's much more visible, which is kind of interesting. I wouldn't have guessed that, but, it's probably, like, the contrast. Yeah, I only have one of these left, but then I get to start coloring something new. I don't know if I've showed you these, Lynn. Let me grab them quick. Uh, Not cupcakes, but I have these are cute Halloween mugs. Let me get it closer. And they have little monsters and stuff on them. But I think these are just going to be super fun to color. I just printed this on coloring paper and with my laser printer. But I was sort of like, I should probably use up the things I have first. And you can see, I don't know if you can on camera, but like these are actually relaxing quite a bit as they dry. So I mean, by tomorrow, I'll throw something in the group, but by tomorrow those should be totally fine. And let's see what time we are at. We have a little bit more time. I think I will maybe play with one more of these backgrounds, or maybe try and use up some of the papers we've pulled out. I will do a impromptu sort of, not really a taste test because I've tried these, but these Jelly Belly Monster Mash is a pretty good blend. I think this is a total side tangent, but the caramel corn is, I think, the seasonal special flavor, and basically, it's not that different than buttered popcorn. Like, so whatever you think about buttered popcorn, like, you're probably going to think the same thing about caramel corn. That's just my personal vibe on it. Let's see if we have a blue-ish. Oh, we do. I was thinking we could cut this into a panel and then maybe use some of our kitties and our books and our other things that are on the side of my desk and make something out of it. Yeah, I think that works. I just need to figure out what size this is and then just have a slightly bigger edge. And I found one of my 2 missing rulers looking for the bone folder that went missing. But yeah. I don't know. I'm having like one of those. This is 3.5 or 3 3/4. I mean, so whatever that is, 5, I think, if I'm doing my math correctly. If not, I can always recut it a little bit, but I don't know. It seems like a constant. Oh, yeah, that looks good. Except I think these flowers are upside down. It's weird. They're not actually directional, but like in my brain, they kind of are. And the card opens that way. So excellent. But I don't know. I actually like this particular pattern paper. I like quite a bit, but we can just sort of look at some of our. I was curious if my tape's running out. I haven't. I don't know, since I haven't done like a card series of a whole bunch of stuff recently. I haven't actually run out. Yeah, so if you like it, the caramel corn is almost identical. I think I'd notice it more like if the caramel corn, like if they weren't jelly beans, it would probably be easy to tell. But let me see what else was in here. The caramel corn was the one that stood out. There's a green apple and a grape and an orange and a blueberry, and they're all sort of standard fruity flavors, and I like all of them, but like none of them are like super. Oh my god, if you know what I mean, like because you know, they've been in previous mixes, so I think that this will go well. Well, I mean, this is the ephemera made to go with it, so like of course it'll go well with it, but I haven't played with this since my first card of the month, but I really think I don't know. I don't know if it's just because it's. Oh, I like this floral a lot. That one's cool. I and so we could just do a little books at the bottom. I think. But we have more ladies with books. Oh, this is cool. But first, coffee. Oh, I like that. Maybe just do a little montage at the bottom. That's probably not the word I mean, but oh, I like the little smiling, well, the little heart, uh, whatever that is, latte art cup thingy. And what else might go? Oh, this is cool. Oh, that's neat. This is like a little chair with. You can really just sort of make a scene out of this because this is just sort of a little cozy chair, and then got our books and our glasses. Oh, I kind of am liking where this is going. Um, that cup's way too big, which is too bad because I like it. But let's see what other bits and pieces. We have another cute little floral fox, which I guess technically you could hide the fox behind the books, and that kind of works. I kind of like that as sort of a vibe. Like it's very pink and cute if that's your vibe. It's sometimes my vibe, but not all the time. I really this has nothing to do with this exactly, but I really like these ladies with the books. I think that's kind of a nice vibe too. And I'm missing all the things you're saying because I'm busy looking at things. Yeah, I like the green apple. I like the green apple and the orange. I like the licorice one as well. Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, the sours are less sweet. Like often it just sort of feels very sweet. I mean, the jelly bellies, it's like you start eating them and you don't notice the flavors, and then, eventually it all makes sense. No, actually, I didn't realize they had one here. I think there's one in the one I've seen on TV was in Atlanta, I think. I mean, it was in the South somewhere, but I didn't know that they made Jelly Bellies in Wisconsin. But like the things I've seen of people going to the Jelly Belly store have been pretty neat. Like I've seen it on like Food Network and stuff like that. Oh, that's a good idea. We do have macaroons or macarons. Good idea. Wherever they are. There were. Oh well, you can just jump off. Oh, there's some. Ah, one just landed. Oh, that's a cute idea. Little macaroon on the table. Good call. I like that. Well, now things don't quite line up anymore, but that's fine. Let's get some of this. I don't know. Like, I just love that these ephemera packs are super packed with stuff, but like, I think I put it away, but I've almost used up my It's Apple Season 1, but that was just because I made like 3 sheetload of cards out of the ephemera pack. So, actually, I think I'll save this. I'll just put this on the inside somewhere. But anyway, let me stop rambling quite so much. Let us get our things down so that we are not overly late to another party. But let's see. Oh, maybe. I mean, that would be super close. I mean, I think you're like, I don't know. Like Chicago's like 3 hours from here, so Rockford is a lot closer. I don't know. Like I always figure that like you and Jamie must be like very much in the same neck of the woods, but probably not. I don't know. It's always like I always forget like Illinois is a big state. I mean, so is Wisconsin, but like I don't go to the northern parts of Wisconsin that much. Good idea with the little macaroon on the table. Whoop, let's not move that too much. And where do I want my little fox? I think just like that, and then we'll just put the. I guess we have to figure out how how wide the books are. My the the not fox that lives in my house is excited per usual. That looks about right. So right next to the table, I think will work out. But but yeah, I don't know. I don't know that I've ever been to a candy factory. Period. So I don't know. That would be pretty neat. I think there used to be a sort of Target Walmart sort of, I don't know what you want to call those. They're not really like general stores, but whatever the current equivalent of a general store is. Um, like called Shopko that was here, and they used to have sort of all those neat little like self-serve Jelly Belly things where you could basically make your own mix. That was always pretty fun to do. Uh, but they went out of business a couple years ago. I think they went out of business like I don't know pre-pandemic, so it's been a minute. But I don't know. I still think it would be a lot of fun to check it out. Plus, I'm sure like they have a tour and other stuff that would be pretty cool to do. Oh, they do give a tour. Okay. Well, like I actually have made candy. Like as a kid, I was very into like cooking and baking and candy making and all that stuff. So because I like treats. But but I have actually made. I haven't made jelly beans, but I've made like caramels, and I don't know if I've ever made hard candy. I think I always stuck to um, softer candies. But I mean, the process is the same. It's all basically cooking sugar and trying to not get the hot cooked sugar on you, which I don't know. I did pretty well at that. It's just sort of like you just sort of hit this stage where like the candy's done, but basically the sugar is like super hot still. So whoop, um like you want to get it into whatever your final thing is. Oh, and here I was incorrect. This is lifting up a bit. So, like if this ever happens on a card, you can just sort of come in with a little bit one of these fine tip glue applicators and glue it back down. So I guess we've learned that wet glue is better for these things than dry adhesive, or I didn't burnish it out enough to have it really stick down, but we'll see if that does it. If not, we can mess with it a little bit more. Oh, that's too bad, Cordelia. Well, I've heard in the Northeast, like the Hershey factory tour is pretty cool as well. But I have not gone on any of those. Whoop, let's guess we can get these mostly. I must be lower. I'm not getting everything in camera at once. Oh well, it's fine. I think I will wrap things up for the evening, mostly because my friend Joy is going live at 7 or 8, depending on where you are, 10 minutes from now. But I thought I'd just walk through these. This is actually the first card I think is my favorite. It's the gnome, kind of like with the Frankie. Like you really notice the embossing a lot more when it's next to, sorry, when it's next to like flat paper. Like it really pops a lot more. If you're just sort of looking at it by itself, it's less evident. And then this was the last card we made that was just sort of a cute fox and a cute coffee card, and it was mostly just using up our scraps. I got really inspired after watching Stamper Girl and Lynn's live with earlier this week about like just making cards from your scraps, and I tend not to do that. But anyway, these are so we did two cards, and then I don't know whatever you want to consider this. So I don't know. I think these are going to work out great. These will be really fun because these will be really easy to just stick either like a sticker sentiment or like make my own or whatever. So those will be. I'm sure these will be used for something this fall in the near future. But anyway, it was great talking to you guys. If you are interested in the Prickly Pear Live, I'll be over there in about 10 minutes. So if you're there, say hi. If not, I hope you have a good evening. I hope you have a good rest of your week. And you'll probably be getting a bunch of notifications from me on Instagram and other places. Because I think there are 4 hops this week. There are like 2 YouTube hops and 2 Instagram ones. But anyway, I know you guys follow me on all the things. So I will see you guys later. And I hope you have a great rest of your weekend.